Hey everyone, welcome to another race recap video. This one is the Zwift Racing League on Glyph Heights, round 5 of the first series of the season. This was going to be an interesting points race. I'll put the course up right here. We had a lead-in of about 8k, which includes the Mayan Mountainside Com, which had some FTS points on the line. And then we had FTS and FAL on the Itzicom, followed by a trip up the top part of the grade to the Epic Com and descent, and then back down through the jungle before a final tour up the Mayan Mountainside Com to finish. So a pretty tough course, one that suits me well. However, in the field with some of these riders, this was going to be tricky to try and manage the points and the climbing afterwards. So let's see how we go. Not much happened in the first flat part. It was all about trying to get a feather for that first segment, and I did on the second time. 80% feathers, didn't get it the first time, but we got it the second time, ready for the FTS attempt. Now, as we head into the Mayan Mountainside Com, I'm just sagging back a little bit to get a bit of a reverse head start for the FTS points. There's a few guys with similar plans behind. I don't want to take too many risks here because I know from this moment it's going to be a pretty hard 20-minute. And the more anaerobic I go, the harder it's going to be to hang on to a good finish position afterwards. So, Ica, probably one of the main threats that sagged back there. So yeah, Ica was probably the main threat that started near me. All you have to do now is pretty much get back up onto the group and then make sure you finish with them over the top of the com to ensure you get the points. Easier said than done. The pace was reasonably hot throughout this few minutes. Not crazy, but certainly a solid 3 minute to kick things off. Everyone's still bunched up pretty tightly as we head up the top part here. 30 seconds worth of feather activating now. I see Aiden Patterson from BL13 go. I know he was sagging back a little bit before that segment, so I know he's a wheel to follow there, and he's kicking pretty hard. Once I get on the wheel, I can kind of relax a little bit into this part. I'm feeling in a good spot. Good legs still. I do a little kick past, and then I see I've got a bit of a gap over Ica there. So I kind of relax off that last 20 meters and just grab the FTS over Ica by 0.1. So a perfect start. Now there's 600 meters until the next segment, and it is an FTS as well. So I'm now planning to drop back in this 600 to ensure I can have another FTS attempt on the next one. So letting a couple of little moves go if there are moves. But then I think a few dangerous guys come past at speed. I see Woo going, Marco's there. So in my head, I'm like, gee, these are the caliber of riders who could actually ride away faster in a small group than the peloton. So I decide to keep pretty honest through this bit. And then I just do a small sag here to lose a bit of ground on those couple of guys. So a reasonably solid start. But I just get towed along in the group to get back up to the front. Throughout this segment, there have been several little kicks. You can see the red parts in the graph with some easier bits. I've tried to draft the whole time. Now we're getting to the pointy end of the climb, and I see Sherwin doing a pretty solid attack and Woo's following as well. So just trying to get up on the wheel to get in a good spot for these FAL points as well as the FTS. I know I started the segment behind Sherwin and Woo, so FTS is looking pretty good now, but still need to just sit in for the FALs. Again, try not to waste too many watts here because I know the grade's coming up straight away, and getting these points is certainly going to take a bit of an anaerobic toll on the legs. So up on Woo's wheel, and I'm in a pretty good spot, feeling pretty good, but I still need to manage the effort to try and get that perfect score. Nicely in the wheels as we come towards the banner. I just roll past Woo here. quite in control, and then almost get my head blown off there by Sherwin as he storms past at 1,000,000 watts a kilo again, but we get the perfect points with a 5:32 for that segment. So the perfect points have been achieved. Now it's all about finish line positions. So my goal now is to try my best up the grade. I feel okay, but as you can see, the heart rate was 176 there, so there aren't many beats to spare. Can see a bit of a gap here over the main pack. Um, I kind of thought this might be an opportunity to just keep a bit of tempo in for the next 30, 40 seconds to ensure that I'm in a bit of a group that actually don't get caught and don't make myself vulnerable on the grade. So as we start the grade here, Sammy's came across. My main objective is to make sure I'm drafting nicely in this orange section, and then from there it's pretty much all in. But I quickly realised in the next few minutes that I do not have the legs after those anaerobic efforts that some of these other riders have. That that's another topic altogether. You can see Marco absolutely storming from behind there, 8 watts a kilo getting across. Marco's been put on the Zwift stock bike because I don't think he's rode Zwift since the TTT last week. So he's going to have a really tough time up this steep section on the slowest bike in the game. But Marco's so strong that it's not going to bother him. And here he is. My legs are starting to feel a bit average here, so I'd actually deploy my feather really early, just to make sure I can try and stay with these boys another 30 seconds and see if I get a chance to settle down, or if they settle down. But they didn't, um, and that was pretty much the last time I see these boys for quite a while, and I'm then stuck on my own as we go over the top of the grade, which I'll show you the gaps now. So I'm coming up to the top of the grade now. It's been a pretty solid effort there. You can see the time gaps on the right. That's one to look for. I think Marco said he did his best 5 minuter, which that's sort of saying something. And he's still got two riders with him there. Liam White's kind of coming across to me, but I didn't really want to risk getting caught by the guys behind him, so I continue to push on, especially knowing that this descent's coming up. And if I descend like a maniac, you never know, I might be able to get myself back in the hunt. As we go over the top of the Epic Com, you can see I've closed that gap up a little bit to those guys. I've continued to push on pretty solid. I've now also opened up a bit more of a gap to the guys behind. Now, this is where I was going to deploy one of the biggest descents there were to try and see if I could get back on terms with the three at the front and put myself in with a chance of being there for the final. So let's have a watch at some of this. Well up over 800 there, trying to get the speed up as high as I possibly could to start things off to try and gain a little bit of that gap back. Hitting some pretty high speeds there, and I've already closed that gap a little bit just from that entry speed. We have it down to 11 seconds, and I thought I have to use my feather up over 900 watts, so I'm all out sprinting here. Um, I could hopefully gain back a few seconds with a really strong 30 seconds up here. This is obviously bloody hurting, but I'm closing the gap nicely, and I've just got to hold on to it here for another few more seconds. Absolutely ruined. Just trying to suck a little bit of air in right now. I've got the gap down to 7 seconds, but the descent is running out. Heart rate 177, 178. And another little kick to try and pick up a little bit more speed. Last little rise here. I'm kicking again. I'm completely all in into the super tuck. I can see them. They are so close now. Am I going to get back on terms before we turn left into the jungle? The old optical heart rate's taking just a little bit of time to kick in, but I'm absolutely spent here. Now, I know it's about to go up. I need to try and get this draft as soon as possible. Here we go. We're going to make contact. Sherwin's going orange numbers. He knows the situation. Look at him, 10 watts a kilo. That's not what I want to see. I'm going 600 watts. And I'm back in a bit of draft for the first time in a long time. I'm kind of there. Marco just waits back, I think, to try and make sure I can get back to the group. And my legs just completely cracked. That is me. DEAD. Dead. Sorry, boys. That's race over. The legs just absolutely went kaput. I've got 45 seconds over 5th and 6th here. Who knows what's going to happen from here? Uh, they quickly catch a lot of that up. And, I was kind of thinking maybe recover and see if I can beat them at the line for 4th, or maybe that group in 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th to 10th are probably going to take me here because I am ruined. So 5 minutes later, and we are working into a bit of tempo. Now, the gap's down to 20 seconds to Gallagher and Dooley. From here, I thought just ride steady, make it hardish for them to catch me, but not so that I can't sprint up the hill at the end if they do catch me. You can see a little bit of that power graph. I've pretty much, since I died, went from grey to blue to green, and now trending up into yellow. That trend continues as we head up into the last couple of K. I still had 23 or 24 seconds on these guys, and providing the legs were okay, hopefully I could hold them off. Sammy has caught them pretty much, so that certainly helps, as now they're dragging one of my teammates along as well if they do catch me. So, very tough ride. Not much more to say about that. Yeah, so that's quite an interesting one given the World Champs format where you have that sprint into the 4-minute climb. That's kind of a similar situation to how we had that banner and then up into the grade. So some little intricacies to be learnt from that, some tactical decisions maybe to be made to maximize the result at Worlds. But yeah, anyway, basically this was a very, very hard race. I'll put the points up in a moment. So overall, the Aero guys got the win. You can see Marco, Sammy, Liam all up there, really high up, scoring well. Gatesy and Tomo finishing the job for us. And then we had our 7th Cam Winfield riding for WMZ tonight because we had too many put their hand up, and Cam actually scored 74 points himself, which could have been super handy for us boys, but we got the win anyway. Heading into the last week of the series, we lead BL13 by 1 point, so whoever wins next week will take the round. I'll put a quick breakdown of the individual scores up because of my perfect segment points. Obviously, I take the most points for the day. Love to win a points race. Points races are my favourites, I'd say, on the ZRL. So good to tick that one off. I'm pretty cooked after that one. How did your race go? Did you learn anything from that one? Leave a comment if you enjoyed it or you thought anything about that. But cheers for watching.